Behind us is the Subaru Forester.
It's a no-nonsense SUV. It's practical, it's rather large, and it's considerably larger than the vehicle that was released in 1997, which was supposed to be a small SUV.
Yeah, it does dwarf most other things on the road now.
This one is around £33,000, but you can pick one up for £26,500, which is really good value.
Now the model we have here is the petrol injection with the CVT automatic gearbox. You can also get a diesel and you can get a manual gearbox as well.
And for purists, it still does use a boxer engine too.
I'm going to be taking a look at the interior styling, the functionality, the practicality.
I'll be looking at the exterior, the build quality.
Then we'll both be driving it to bring you our verdict on whether or not this is the car for you. Stepping into the Forester, you do have soft materials along the top of the dash. Everything's very well put together, everything's very robust. It's function over style. Now admittedly there are some hard plastics, but that's to be expected. There are these leather inserts on the centre console and along the door. There is also this glossy plastic insert here and the chrome highlights around the vents that just breaks up the black a bit. When it comes to functionality, you've got all-around electric windows, powerful door mirrors, memory function on your seats, you've even got memory function on your tailgate. You can also open it from here. On the steering wheel you've got the little paddle shifters on the back, you've also got your lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, your driving modes and media controls. You do have automatic lights and automatic wipers. Along the top here you have two screens. On the left you have your climate control and on the right you have a fuel computer with some of the car's settings. Although it's old school, I really like it because it doesn't crowd up the infotainment screen. Every time you change the air conditioning it means that it doesn't pop up on the sat-nav. It's just that little bit less distracting. Coming back to the infotainment system, you do have sat-nav, you have Bluetooth, you have DAB radio, so you've got everything you need. You have the dual zone climate controls here, heated seats, X mode. Down here is your automatic transmission, which allows you to put it into manual as well. And something that's really strange, you actually have a proper handbrake. When it comes to practicality, I have lots of headroom and I have lots of legroom. The seats are fully electrically operated, they're also heated. The steering has reach and height adjustment. There is also this lovely large sunroof which does have a manual shade. You have decent sized door bins which can fit a large bottle of water. Also two large cup holders here. A decent sized storage area down here with a little change tray at the top. And you do have a decent sized glove box. Overall I really like the interior of this car, it's very functional. One thing I would say is these seats do seem a little bit short on your knees. It doesn't have any sort of adjustment like the German rivals do, and also the seats aren't that buckety. Like, you have a bit of support here. Your bottom half, you do tend to slide around a bit, they're not that sporty, but that's not what this car's about. Stepping into the back of the car is nice and easy. That's thanks to the raised ride height and the doors opening nice and wide. Once you're back here, I have a decent amount of legroom. This seat set up for me, I'm 6 foot. My hair does just about brush along the top of the roof if I sit bolt upright, but Ben blames that on my barber. However, that is because we've got the panoramic sunroof. If you didn't opt for that, it wouldn't be a problem at all. You would be able to fit 3 adults back here. Admittedly, you wouldn't want to go from Land's End to John O'Groats, but you can do it. 2 adults won't be a problem. There is also ISOFIX points on both the outer seats. 3 children back here wouldn't be a problem. You do have electric windows, some soft materials along the doors. It is worth mentioning, just to the side of the back seat, you do have this hard plastic here. It would have been nice to see some padding over that. There's also this large plastic centre console. It would have been nice to see some air conditioning or a 12-volt socket. You do have a pull-down armrest with 2 cup holders, and you can fit a large bottle of water in the door bins. There is no privacy glass in this car. It does make it nice and light and airy back here. You do get one central light, but you don't get individual reading lights, and you have these little pockets on the back of the seats for that little bit of extra storage, and side airbags. Coming round to the boot of the car, you do have a power tailgate. Admittedly, it does sound like a spaceship door from an 80s sci-fi film. That is actually pretty cool. Once you're back here though, you do have 505 litres of space. Once you fold the seats down, that increases to 1557. It's a nice square open space, there's very little load lip, and once the seats are flat, there's not much of a load lip there too. You can fold the seats down using the buttons, there is a 12-volt socket, and some additional storage under here in the styrofoam tray. There is also a spare wheel hidden under there as well. You can open the tailgate using the button on the key or inside the car. Now be careful not to bang your head on the boot if you are over 6 foot.
Now Subarus have generally been very good looking cars, and this doesn't break that mould either. You've got very nice sculptures, you've got lots of chrome too. One thing that is pretty strange is the fact it's got no parking sensors. However, it does have 2 HD cameras at the top of the windscreen. Now this is Subaru's eyesight system. It monitors the road, looks for obstacles. It also gives you adaptive cruise control as well, which allows you to follow the vehicle in front and keep it at a nice safe distance. It will also brake for you too. You also have automatic headlamps which are self-leveling, rain-sensing wipers, and if you're feeling like going for a blast across a field, you've also got headlamp washers as well which will pop up. Coming to the side of the Forester, the first thing you'll notice is that raised ride height. Now it's also got all-wheel drive as well. That's kind of what you'd expect. It's rough, rugged, it's ready for anything. You've also got these like smaller alloy wheels. They're rather cool looking, but with that high profile, they're there for comfort, which is the main aim, especially when you're off-roading. You've also got power folding mirrors and keyless entry. You've also got these sill guards that run along the doors as well, so no more muddy trousers. Got roof bars and a panoramic sunroof too. Stepping round to the rear of the car, in true Subaru style, you do have this amazing boot spoiler with the high-level brake light. It's always been a signature of the brand. You've also got a reversing camera. There are no parking sensors, but the reversing camera does make it very simple to park and manoeuvre. You've also got this tow bar here, and that allows you to tow up to 2,000 kilograms of weight too.
What's the Subaru Forester like to drive? Well, we have a 2-litre fuel-injected petrol engine producing 150 PS.
And it does 0 to 60 in about 11.8 seconds, so it's not the fastest thing on the planet, but it does have that CVT gearbox, which, well, realistically, it economises fuel, doesn't it?
Yes, it doesn't encourage spirited driving particularly, does it?
No, not at all, to be honest. But that's through design, isn't it? That's that boxer engine with the gearbox. You can get a manual though.
You can get a 6-speed manual, but this CVT is very smooth and it does maximise economy.
It does, and it means your engine will last a lot longer as well. And one thing to note with this car is you do get a 5-year, 100,000 mile year warranty too.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, it does give you very good peace of mind.
It does.
When it comes to the steering, it is very light. It doesn't encourage you, like the gearbox, it doesn't encourage you to drive spiritedly, but it does have a good sense of direction and it's very easy to use.
And the strange thing is, it can. If you push it round a corner, it will go. It just feels like it...
It doesn't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess that's not what it's designed for.
No.
The suspension on this car is one of the best things. I think that's down to this car having the intelligent dampers. So you do have paddles on the steering wheel and you can put it into manual mode if you are wanting to do a little bit more spirited driving. Some things which I do like are the adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist, and also the collision detection system.
It's very good, isn't it?
It really does give you that extra peace of mind, and it also makes that car that bit
safer.
Yeah,
as well.
that bit easier to drive.
Yeah. Well, it means that you can always, you're concentrating, but you've also got a second set of eyes as well.
Yeah, that's it. You're able to drive really long distances.
Yeah.
Like we drove down to London using it, and it just makes the journey so much easier.
You arrive a lot more refreshed, don't you?
I really like X mode as well. That's really useful. Like when we pull out of your driveway, it means that the car doesn't slip on the gravel, and it also makes the throttle response a little bit less, so you're not afraid of going into a wall or the garage.
Yeah, I know, that's very handy actually. Also makes it a lot better off-road as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. When this car first arrived, we were a little bit alarmed because on the fuel computer it was saying we were getting around 32 mpg, and we were thinking, oh god, we've got to drive down to London. But
I think it was actually lower than that.
But once we got it on a run, we got 45 mpg.
Yeah, exactly. It did exceptionally well, but the strange thing is, which we've now found out, is that every time you turn it off, it kind of almost resets the mpg, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you'll get back in and you'll be like, oh dear, I'm doing 20 to the gallon, and you're not.
Well, because that computer's so in depth here in the centre, you do actually, it's almost a challenge to yourself to get economy out of it.
It is. Gives you a little rundown as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. This being an SUV, it means you get a really good clear view of the road. The windscreen's nice and large, but you don't have some of the disadvantages of an SUV, such as the roll. It feels very
it's planted, isn't it?
The corners, yes.
Yeah, it's very well planted, and it helps with that all-wheel drive symmetrical system.
I also really like the light steering when you're carrying out manoeuvres, the reversing camera. It would have been nice to see parking sensors though, because it is quite a big car.
It is strange that it doesn't have parking sensors on the front or the rear, isn't it?
Yeah, I really can't work out why they've done that.
No, especially when you've got 2 HD cameras at the front for the safety and one at the back.
Yeah. Overall though, this car I think is great because it fits its purpose.
It does.
It's very good at what it's supposed to do. If you lived on a farm, then you would never think twice about driving it through a field, or like around here in the Lake District, it's perfect for rural areas.
It's not too big either, is it?
No, but it's still able to cope when you get into the city, because we drove it into London.
Oh yeah.
And you're still able to park it. You have good visibility out of the car.
Yeah.
And on the motorway, okay, if you're really looking for some spirited driving, this CVT gearbox doesn't do you any, it's
no, it won't do you any favours.
That's it, but it's very smooth and very comfortable.
And you've also got the turbocharged version one if you want one that's a touch faster.
Yes, and you can opt for a manual as well.
Yeah.
So what's our verdict of the Subaru Forester?
Well, it's very practical, it's pretty cool looking, and it's built like a tank.
Realistically, you could drive it through any one of these fields. It's a car with purpose.
Yeah, well, it's not really surprising when you look at Subaru's history of rallying and that all-wheel drive system with this symmetrical, like, road terrain. I mean, it can cope with anything, can't it?
That's it. It is worth mentioning, however, the CVT gearbox isn't the most, it doesn't encourage you to drive spiritedly.
No, it's definitely going for a more economical approach, isn't it? But
Yeah.
you can get manuals as well.
Well, it is very smooth, it is very comfortable, but yeah, if you want a more spirited driving, go for the manual.
Yeah, and if you do want to, well, basically kick down, the best way is to use the paddles, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to go into the manual mode to really get any good performance out of that gearbox.
Yeah, but I mean, this is 2 litre fuel injected, you can get a 2 litre turbo, and there's diesel models too,
Yeah,
isn't
there's
there?
a diesel as well, so you really can make it to suit your needs.
Yeah, and
Economy-wise,
well, yeah, it's staggering, isn't it? I mean, we've never driven a car that actually exceeds the economy figures, but this does. I mean, 45 to the gallon.
yeah,
wasn't
we
it?
got that coming back from London. Now, it is worth mentioning that if you are on smaller tracks and A roads and accelerating and decelerating, then the economy does go down a bit.
Yeah,
But if you get it on a run, it's good.
well, you expect that, don't you?
Yeah.
It's built for purpose, like you say. It's very good at what it does, and what is it? It's £26,500, isn't it? The starting price. Then.
So that's a reasonable price for a car of this size and this much functionality.
Well, it's got a lot of tech, and don't forget those safety features.
Yeah.
You've got Subaru Eyesight, which is a 6th safety feature which will basically monitor the road and gives you adaptive cruise control at the same time, and it's NCAP 5, so very safe.
If you're in the market for a functional 4x4, then this is well worth taking a look at.
For more impartial reviews, and if you've any questions about this car, please leave them below and subscribe. Thank you.